I power walked down to that pile of gummy bears and back. I should probably set the pile out further, or closer, so I can get at them.
Hey, what's up, pups? How you guys doing today? Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. It is a show where we take a look at what's happening in the old pop culture sphere, try to find the good stuff, the bad stuff, and either enjoy it, laugh at it, make fun of it, call out the insanity of it. But all in all, just trying to reconnect that nostalgic feeling and that joy of the sake of being entertained for entertainment's sake, because it is dying. And we need to rekindle that dying flame. We're not talking like flame as in, woohoo. But hope you guys had a good day. I did. Yeah, and we're here. Got some stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, some stuff I'm a little sad about too, because I've talked about one of the topics in the past, and it's like everything that I enjoy is like slowly dying, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But we've got some news going out in the old video game sphere. Sadly, a site that I've mentioned before and ROM hacks that I've used, romhacking.net, apparently is shutting down. Super disappointing. And we'll look into the reasoning why behind it, but garbage, bullshit. Because to me, that is one of the sites that, it was a way for people to present their personal projects of ROM hacking and stuff, and it was a way for people to fix games and create translations to games that never made it over to the US. So it's very, very disheartening to see that it's shutting down. It seems like it's shutting down, but it'll still be available to download it. They've actually linked everything that they have and put it up on internet or on archive.org. So that's good. I snagged the torrent of that just for preservation's sake, in case, I don't know. I don't know what I would do with it, but any case. And they hosted that up there. They put that up there. Really disheartening. So more negative because I'm sad to see it happen, as opposed to like, DEI and woke garbage infestation. But we do have plenty of those too. But some on the more upside, today's the day that Streets of Rage was released for Japan. Do a quick little overview of that, see what that entails. And movie-wise, today was also the day that the movie Signs was released, as well as Matilda. So there's some fun stuff that we can just take a look at real quick. But if you're going to enjoy the show and hang out with me, feel free to smash that subscribe button and punch that thumbs up and ring the bell to get notified when I go live. I try to go live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the Power Up Podcast show. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do game streaming. We are currently zipping through Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. It is part of the Mario and Luigi series. Probably my favorite series involving Mario and Luigi, for sure. I mean, I like, like Luigi's Mansion and, Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. But Mario and Luigi series is a solid series. I definitely recommend it. So a lot of people think Paper Jam isn't all that, It may not stand out amongst the series, but I'm enjoying it. So that's what we're playing, and of course we'll dive into other games as well. All of that takes place at 8 p.m. Central Time when I can. So all the more reason to check it out. Right now we are live on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Kick. So you can follow me over there, and any other social media is listed in the description down below. And on X, you can feel to give me a follow, and you can find my link tree there. All right, let's hop into this. Don't you just love transitioning into seeing that? I mean, people who feel like they need to transition because they have a mental illness, that's one thing. But we see this. Ugh. So apparently the creative director of Star Wars Outlaw, coming from that Park Place, is just straight up rejecting that criticism. Rejecting it. Of K-Vess, Julian Girardi. Oh my gosh, that last name. I mean, Marima, that's my last name. I mean, that's Dutch. But that's Girardi. It's like gee whiz, you know. Makes no sense to me, and it's not worth engaging in. No, that's just you trying to avoid criticism in general. Again, criticism has become a point now to where we'll only listen to you if it's positive and it goes along with our ideology. Other than that, it's grifting or being ignored. But by all means, feel free to ignore it. Your stocks are going way down. So, yeah, by all means, keep ignoring it. Let the money talk, because you sure as hell aren't helping the cause in terms of trying to be diverse and stuff, because you don't listen to criticism, and people never asked for any of the things that you were doing to begin with. So he addresses the criticism of the game's main character, K-Vess, and specifically criticism of her looks. And Vess in Star Wars Outlaws have repeatedly been criticized for making the character ugly. This is true, and I believe it's already been covered that this is their goal, to make feminized features more neutral, but in the end, it just becomes masculine, and it looks like hot garbage. And of course, the male motion captures of facial features and stuff like that, that seems to be perfectly fine. For some reason, it's only the women. So my boy Manga Lawyer made a post saying total video game character assassination by feminist developers, Star Wars Outlaws 2024, and then adds, they are taking all the beautiful women and turning them into chestless Karens. This is true. Look at that. Look at that right there. And then more recently, he compared Star Wars Outlaws to Star Wars The Force Unleashed. He wrote, we never knew how good we had it, bros. I need to play the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. I played 1 and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. What a terrible shot right there. Ridiculous. Now, some people will obviously say you're pausing that like right at the worst moment. But no. We're due diligent enough to take a step back and see it. It's like it's like in anime, like, with the Naruto Shippuden and Pain fight with the very terrible keyframe animations. They'll try to pass it off and say, oh, you're just stopping this at like one of those keyframe moments that just, it has to be drawn that way so it blends in together. It's like, no, when we take a step back, it still looks like garbage. It's like with Dragon Ball Z Super, or I guess Dragon Ball Super, not Z, totally different thing. But it's like Dragon Ball Super, where they just said, screw it, we'll fix everything when the Blu-ray comes out. To me, you should have just had good artwork to begin with. Now, I don't like the Super style anyway. I think the manga captures a little bit more of the established style that was finally honed in on Z towards the end, like in the Buu Saga and stuff. But overall, I don't like it. So this person probably made a comparison as well. I was wondering if someone from the mod gaming community could fix the head and face model of K-Vess from Star Wars Outlaws so it can look more like the actual model that Ubisoft hired for the face model of such character. Humberly Gonzalez? Her name's Humberly? I mean, Okay. And then G. Righty responded to these criticisms, telling the Washington Post, Kay is meant to be approachable. That doesn't mean that they need to be ugly. That is the worst way to start that off. Well, she's supposed to be approachable. It's like, dude, I'm not approaching that. I'm staying away from it. Like, you already failed at that. A petty theft who ends up barreling through the story, making bad decisions, and such, that has nothing to do with why you can't make the character model look like a woman. Making bad decisions and centered with a lot of humor, humility, and toughness. They probably took the keyword toughness and said, well, that's the reason we need to give for that woman power. So let's do it. And then that then means make her ugly. That's what's important to me. And she's beautiful. Come on. No, she is beautiful. The character model, absolutely beautiful. This is not beautiful. Some people may find it beautiful, and that's fine. To me, this is an insult to the character model. I don't know how much of a model career she has. I don't know if she's well known and stuff, but this is something that could potentially boost her career even more. And you ruin it. You ruin the advancement of her career by defeminizing her, which to me is straight up insulting. I'm very curious on the contracts that these people sign. Do they know? Do they get promised one thing and assume everything's going to be fine, and then this happens, and then they get mad about it? Be helpful if I actually had the proper opening straightened. He added, it makes no sense to me and it's not worth engaging with. If you engage with bad faith people, but this, once again, this is woke mentality. He pretty much believes any sort of criticism is bad faith mentality, when there's literally people who are being true and being like, the simple question, why is she not looking like her character model? Why? Well, there's no nuance and no possibility of real dialogue, so all we can do is make the best game possible. I mean, I kind of read that. But he's saying that's not worth engaging. Well, you're not worth being the director of this game then, because you're not engaging with actual gamers, because you're a garbage person, probably. And then he previously describes Vesa as a much more modern... There it is. No, don't need to explain it to me anymore. Right there. Right there. Modern. This guy, 100% cannot and will not tell you. What do you mean when you say modern protagonist? What do you mean? They can't tell you it. They don't want to tell you it because they know what it is. It's Han Solo back in the day. Sharp-looking dude. Badass. XYZ. Action guy. Really popular. We need a female version of it. That's it. And you go, why? And they go, well, because nowadays, during these modern times, there needs to be more diversity. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just take everything that was successful with Han Solo, do the opposite of it. Male, make her female. Do this, sexy, gotta tone down that male gaze. Make her ugly, do this and that. It should sell. That's the formula they think. They're like, we don't understand why this isn't working. It's like, keep doing it because I'm sure you'll get it right eventually. Or how about it's just a failing formula to begin with? He then explained, she's somebody who's very much a street thief. Okay, again, that has nothing to do with why you're making her ugly. Who gets thrown into things that are beyond her control. Whoop-de-doo. Pretty sure there's plenty of games that do that. And that she kind of has to think her way out, and that makes it a little bit more relatable than somebody who has all the confidence and sarcasm and just comes off as somebody who's not believable. Have you ever stopped and thought about why a lot of people who have a sarcastic ability do that sort of sarcasm? The sarcasm is masking, is a mask to give off a sense of confidence, but it's to hide their own vulnerability. Some people do it more extreme than others. But a lot of times, sarcastic people are hiding something, and they're giving off a false sense of confidence. How you came to this conclusion is insane. I'm not saying every time someone makes a sarcastic comment and stuff, it's because, they're hiding something. But like, who is this guy explaining? Is he trying to say this is what Han Solo was? Not at all. Not at all. He added, so having her be relatable in that way was something extremely important to us. That's not being relatable. And again, defeminizing the character model does not need to take place for any of this. You are literally talking about her personality. We are asking, and I say we in a broad sense because I don't really care because I'm not getting this game. But if someone made a mod of it and made her like actually worth the time, but we saw that back fisting a stormtrooper with wearing a solid helmet. We saw her back fist that. Now in real life, her hand would be soup with bone broth in it. I made a post straight up saying you literally could have her take out her blaster and bink. That would have been more realistic. In fact, that would have been quite interesting to pistol whip someone. Because you actually need something to actually, and as realistic as Star Wars is, to knock someone who's wearing a helmet out. Easily could have done that, but no. She has to be strong and powerful enough that she can backfist a helmet and knock the guy out at the same time. Sure. I hope that's not her blaster hand, because that's destroyed doing that for the first time. Maybe that's how she becomes maybe that's how her aim is like that of the stormtroopers. So having her, okay. Anyway, so his comments are not surprising. They're extremely similar to Ubisoft's CEO when he was questioned about criticism the game faced. And we've already read this. This was brought up in Bank of America. And that, the world's going to be very, very high quality, and you better be ready for it. Barclays' Nick Dempsey questioned the low prediction in the Q&A session during the company's call. When I look at the guidance, I think we read this already. He just gives us all this numbers. And then pretty much the CEO guy's like, we can't comment on the very numbers you are quoting, but what we have factored in is a strong launch for Star Wars Outlaws that reflects the fact that it is among the most awaited game and a really strong positive community sentiment. Well, that's not true right there. Number two, this is And I've said this before. This is all that they're banking off of. Just that strong launch. That's all they're banking off of. They're not going to look at how the game does in 2 weeks, in a month, in XYZ. Companies are start to completely ignoring that. Prime examples, Last of Us Part 2. Oh, it sold all this copies, blah, 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 blah. How many, the return amount, the selling of that game was so extreme to GameStop that they said, yeah, we're not taking this anymore. Suicide Squads. Or Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. This is this is becoming it. That the straws that they are grasping at are just going to become, what did we do when it launched? Did it sell enough? What is the high numbers of that? It may not be the best selling numbers, but that's all we care about. That's the same thing they're going to be doing when they're making that excuse to say that, oh, digital is the way to go because that's what people are asking. They conveniently leave out the fact that you don't own the games anymore. Well, they don't leave it out, but because we found out, but they're going to give you the best deal if you go digital. That's the truth. And that's all they care about. They're really, really starting. Hold on just a second. But yeah, sorry, I just got a message. But yeah, these people are retarded. And they're just gonna be lying to you, and they're going to be showing you that first, the launch date and all this and all the pre-orders and stuff like that. And they're not gonna care about if the game fails later on, because they already got your money. And also the fact that we are coming with the biggest marketing campaign ever so far for an Ubisoft game. So that's what we've been factoring in the second quarter. And then what do you make of his comments? Delusional. But this is really what they're going to be doing. They're just going to straight up ignore a lot of stuff. Straight up going to ignore it. And it's sad. Because they should just accept the fact that no one asked for this. In terms of, like, this ugly woman. Sorry to be blunt about it. No one asked for this. And the more important question is, why? How are you failing at giving this, taking this, and just making a 3D model after it? Anywho, this caught my eye over at that Park Place. Rumor, Marvel Studios cleaned house and fired activist producers. If this is true, we might have a chance. A new rumor claims that Marvel Studios cleaned house and fired all activist producers. Hooray! The latest rumor comes from Film Threat founder Chris Gore during an appearance on the Critical Drinkers YouTube channel. He stated, I do know people who work at Marvel. They have cleaned house. They quietly, months ago, fired all the producers. Could be labeled activists. He continued, unlike Lucasfilms is lost. They're lost. They're doubling down on all the nonsense. We will never get anything good out of Lucasfilms and Star Wars. That's it. In contrast, he said, Kevin Feige recognizes, basically, he said that we tried it and it didn't work. I could have told you. I mean, a lot of people have been telling you that it wasn't going to work from the get go. He's talking about Phase 4. It didn't work. No Kang, none of these side characters that don't have the legacy of classic characters. And if Deadpool and Wolverine proves anything, you've heard that phrase male and male. You've heard that phrase male and pale is stale that was spoken aloud across studios. I never heard of it, but now I have. But if you look at box office this year, I would say male and pale is money. And that's the phrase that I think people should more adopt. Gore also noted, additionally, they fired people that don't know the comics, but it's going to be a sea change that will take years. Years. That's why they are announcing this now. We know we screwed up and failed, but look at what's coming. So we're going to get 2 bad movies, 2 bad TV shows, and maybe a good Fantastic Four film. Womp womp. Oh, whoops. Sorry. I'm being distracted here for a second. This one. Humor me for just a second here. BRB real quick. All right, we're back. My bad. Anyway. So Marvel Studios did a huge change at the end of last year on its television show side. Boris Kitt shared that the company was revamping its development process. Showrunners will write pilots and show Bibles. Okay. The days of Marvel shooting an entire series from She-Hulk to Secret Invasion, then looking at what's working, what's not, are done. Marvel's head of streaming, television, and animation, Bird Winderbaum, informed Kitt, "We're trying to marry the Marvel culture with the traditional television culture." He added, "We need executives that are dedicated to this medium, that are going to focus on streaming, focus on television, because they are two different forms." Again, all of, like, we could have told you this, but they just did not give a shit. And then in April, Hit and Aaron Couch noted that Marvel Studios was hit with some layoffs. Around 15 people, including junior level employees in production and development, were laid off. And then Kevin Feige had admitted that characters introduced in Phase 4 will unlikely to show up in the company's upcoming Avengers film. I rarely speak in absolutes like that, right? The notion of never ever seeing anybody or somebody again. We've got Tim Blake Nelson in the movie coming up next year, right? So I never talk in absolutes like that. But then he admitted. Then the old man admitted. But the truth is, we're going to tell the stories in these Avenger movies, and there won't be room for 100,000 people in it, so choices will have to be made, that's for sure, but that doesn't mean you won't ever see anybody ever again. Dang it, Nat, get out of my face. And then he told that it was unlikely Eternals would get a sequel. There are no immediate plans for Eternals 2. However, he did note that Marvel does plan to reference the events that take place in the film moving forward. There are, and I think you've seen maybe a trailer where we've released recently, an acknowledgement of some of those events. Certain giant things came out of the ocean. As far as the employees who do not know comics being excised from the company, it's unclear how accurate this claim is given. Jack Schaefer is the showrunner of the upcoming Agatha All Along series. She's notorious for being clueless about Marvel's source material. Oh, that's her? Oh, yeah, 100% clueless. Ugh. Not interested in adhering to Comic Canyon that is discriminatory in any way or that violates my value system. I'm retarded. So in the same interview, she admitted she wants to use the Marvel Cinematic Universe to make big positive statements. She said, "I wasn't a huge superhero movie fan before starting to work at Marvel, but now that I'm doing it, there's just so much opportunity to make big positive statements." Then you were the DEI hire, and you should never have been hired to begin with. This is ridiculous. So especially something like Captain Marvel and Black Widow, to have these female-centered stories, I just cannot not be involved in that. Yeah. I feel like I've read this before, but it's pretty much, I mean, the writing is definitely on the wall. She hates Marvel, and again, we need to make it more diverse. And then apparently it just goes on to talk about like how pretty much this person's bastardized all this stuff, so we don't really need to worry about that. Top of Schaefer, Nate Moore is still at the company as well. Moore is the vice president of development and production at Marvel Studios. Feige credited Nate Moore for pushing Eternals to the top of the company's production list because of its focus on identity politics. Oh, well, he should be fired. Well, the notion of switching up the gender, sexualities, and ethnicities of the characters from the comics was baked in initially. That was part of what Nate Moore was really advocating for in moving Eternals to the top of the list for us to start working on. What exactly the makeup was between when Nate put together his Eternal discussion documents, which is how we always start on all of our projects, what she came in and did, I don't recall exactly. You don't recall, or you don't want to, you're trying to be like, yeah, we know. We fucked up. Oh my gosh. Fools. All fools. Oh my gosh. Well, there's that one for you. That's funny, but also good news. Yeah, rip out those weeds, burn them to the ground. Wait, what's this one? Nintendo sticks to its annual sales forecast as Q1 operating profit drops 70. Dude, oh my gosh. I hate these little gnats. I hate it when it's hot out, the humidity's out, and gosh, these gnats just show up out of nowhere. Nintendo says its sales forecast for the financial year hasn't changed, despite reporting a 70% year-on-year drop in operating profit in Q1. This is from Video Game Chronicles, or Chronicle. And then its last financial results, which cover the period of April to June 2024, reporting an operating profit of $366 million, or 54.5 yen, which is down 70.6% compared to the same period last year. It says it's due to the decline in gross profits and the rise in SG&A, selling, general, and administrative expenses. Most notably, it points out that net sales for the video game business dropped 46.4% year-on-year, mainly because last year's Q1 included the release of The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So while the Q1 period saw $2 million more in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2, I need to get the HD. I have the original 3DS. It just sucks to emulate. It's like terrible. So I should definitely get the HD. Not going to pick up Paper Mario Thousand Year Door because they censored it because they're a bunch of cucks. It couldn't compete with last year's Tears of the Kingdom, which sold more than 10 million copies in its first 3 days alone. And then a similar drop was seen in mobile and IP-related businesses due to the release of Super Mario Bros. Movie last year. And then during the first quarter of the previous fiscal year, unit sales of both hardwares and softwares were extremely high for the first quarter when the Mario Brothers movie energized our dedicated video game platform business, and Tears of the Kingdom was released together with specifically designed hardware based on that title. There's no such special features in the first quarter of this year, and with Nintendo Switch now in its 8th year since launch, unit sales are both hardware and software decreased significantly year on year. Despite the drop, Nintendo says it hasn't changed its forecast for the entire financial year and still expects to sell a total of 13.5 million Switch consoles between 2024 and March 2025. And then reacting to the financial results, Morningstar investment director Kazunori Ito told Bloomberg that the drop in profits were indicative of a quieter quarter one for Nintendo this year. Hardware shipments are in line with the dearth of big-name software offerings. The market was too optimistic, and rise in selling general and administrative expenses due to the weak yen was a negative surprise. And then analyst Shirkan Toto told Bloomberg that he would be surprised if Nintendo does indeed manage to sell 13.5 million Switch consoles by the end of the year. Really wonder how Nintendo wants to achieve their hardware sales target. I am skeptical if Nintendo still has enough fuel in the tank, especially if they plan to get the target without hardware price reductions. The video game industry is really starting to hurt. And is it hurting because they're finally realizing that catering to a bunch of small fringed woke weirdos doesn't make money and doesn't sell? I would hope so, and they need to change it fast. That's what they need to do. So I guess this ties in perfectly well. Since there's a bunch of stuff apparently stopping, Game Informer magazine is closing up after 33 years. The running U.S. publication will close its doors following over 3 decades. A letter posted to X reads, "After 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insights from the ever-evolving world of gaming, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end." I blame DEI and woke for sure. I also blame GameStop for this. And yeah, I mean, I remember getting Game Informers back in the day, but now it's like why bother? Especially if they've gone the woke side. Then yeah, the weeds have fully taken over. The poison is starting to finally kill. And we need to get rid of it, and we need to take an antidote. Otherwise, a lot of this stuff is just going to keep happening. And veterans of Game Informer, including Andy McNamara, the publication's former editor who now works at EA, Dan Reichert, now of Giant Bomb, and Ben Hansen, now of Minimax. Game Informer was known for its unprecedented access, revealing dozens of games during its history. Its parent company, GameStop, big reason why, laid off several staff from its magazine operation in 2022. It is currently unclear if the online brand will continue. For the majority of its run, Game Informer was only available via a GameStop-backed subscription, and then in 2024, it offered readers the chance to subscribe to the magazine outside of a GameStop membership. Yeah, GameStop back in the day was okay, but now they've just killed everything. I miss Funkoland. Anybody remember Funkoland? It's what GameStop used to be, in Babbage's. And what was it, KB Toys? Yeah. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. And we're seeing all this stuff just snuffing everybody out. Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring up this too. Apparently someone from Second Wind pretty much put in their resignation, the other Frost, because Nick Calandra, we've talked about him a little bit, and anybody who's watched Side Scrollers podcast, he was on there being a cuck, just being a passive-aggressive bitch. He's blocked me, by the way, because I called him I think I just made fun of him. And it was a rather tame comment. Yeah, right here. Well, not him. This guy. 8-bit, not 8-bit Eric. But a second resignation from Second Wind on the same day. Oh, wow. So there's another one. And pretty much what these people are saying is that this weirdo is the reason why they're leaving. It's also funny because apparently they talked about how he was nearly fired over his X account. So here's the guy that said it. When I joined Second Wind Group, I was under the assumption that we were forming a team of creatives with equal value and equal say. Visual creators would oversee their personal series, and the group would decide how to run the business together. It's plain as day that we have recreated the toxic corporate environment we abandoned, led by petulant wannabe CEO who overspends, overpromises, underdelivers, sows division, tarnishes our image, asserts his creative vision, or rather creative blindness, and sabotages anyone's attempts to correct him, all while he fails his most basic duties, joyrides around the world, clout farms, and expects the company and Yahtzee to foot the bill because Nick Calandra tanks our YouTube revenue and makes us undesirable for sponsors. It is beyond incompetence. Nick operates in bad faith to serve his ego, and this group lacks the attitude and processes to appropriately deal with inaction and inability to deliver the core capabilities of our roles. The board of directors lacks enough majority to see through even the most basic Google searchable errors in Nick's farcical directions and use their personal feelings as a substitute for information, even when presented with dumbed-down versions at their repeated requests. So the rest of the owners have little knowledge. Sorry if I read that really weird. Of what's going on, and I don't fault them because that's the whole point of the culture of isolation. They aren't enough leads at once thinking there's a problem. The rest don't know of the problems, therefore there are no problems. All my personal attempts to make Nick see reasons are ignored. You can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid, and the only way for it to actually try to be fixed is either from the Lord, and they need to be completely broken in terms of reaching that all-time low to maybe get a sense of realization that they need to change. A lot of people have to get that all-time low to finally wake up. All of my attempts to make the leads aware of Nick's behavior are brushed off with minimal actions. All of my attempts to raise concern for our systematic issues with leads are put off until after the problems occur. I refuse to be subjected to this behavior any longer. I believe I have done everything in my power to address the issues for over 6 months. I want no part in prying on the community's goodwill and Yahtzee's hard work simply because we can't run a business. At this rate, we don't deserve to run a business. Consider this my formal resignation effective immediately. Yep. And we've seen Nick go after Smash JT. Apparently he's gone after 8-Bit Eric. And apparently now someone else just put in their resignation. Grums, apparently. Yeah, Grums have run into him. And I guess this is a screenshot of the leaked sales win salaries. This is outright scandalous. These numbers should have been reversed between Frost and Nick. I think some people said this is like a weekly salary or maybe... But look at this. He gets $8,000 a week for being a beta bitch. For being a pussy. For claiming, I'm on the fence. I learned that being on the fence is the best way. I watched that show with Side Scrollers with him being like, oh, apparently you have to be on the fence in order to like get through all the bullshit. No. You got to pick a side at some point and just go. Ridiculous. But yeah, this Nick guy like pretty much says that if no one would come up to him in a bar, and if they did, he would be kicked out because he would fight them. Pretty much is what he said. Like the narcissism from this douche. No one gives a shit about you, and no one guaranteed would come up to you randomly in the bar and start talking shit because you're not that big of a person. You're a semi-public figure, with semi being in the very, very low category. I could say the same thing for myself as well. Gosh, these people. I mean, I feel sorry for the people who thought they got away and are with a company that they could do something different, and then this little beta bitch just fucks everything over, and you try to tell them, and it's like, I don't see anything. It's like the proof is in the pudding, but you guys don't do anything because the damage has already been done. So, pretty crappy. Hate to see it. That was another topic I wanted to talk about. So now the big one, and this one I'm upset about it. Definitely upset. Because this is a site that I use when I play games, and I want ROM hacks that fix stuff from old games that should have just not been there in the first place. Fan translations, all that stuff. That is the popular fan translation ROM hacking site. ROMhacking.net ceases operations. So the long-running popular fan translation and ROM hacking site has announced they're effectively ceased operations due to numerous issues. While most ROM-related sites get shut down due to legal claims from original copyright holders in the legal gray area of ROMs, ROMhacking.net is shutting down over increasing hosting costs and what appears to be internal drama from now collaborators. And that is bullshit. Both. Definitely the hosting costs for sure. But this internal drama shit, that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Originally launched back in 2005, it's become one of the main sources for fan translations of Japan-only games, as well as the old ROM hacks that put new spins on classic games. The site has reportedly been in dire need of a code-based revamp, and with its popularity, this led to increasing hosting costs. Furthermore, site owner/admin Nightcrawler posted a lengthy farewell message on the site detailing how they were hoping to hand off management of the site to someone else. I really hope so, please. Possibly even just dumping the entire database and file archive to the general public for preservation's sake. And I believe they did, because you can find it on archive.org. An internal group suddenly emerged during this process at the end of last year, offering to help continue the site. After agreeing to their proposal, moving to hand off data and access, the site manager said they, quote, discovered a most dishonest and hate-filled group that had been dehumanizing them for a very long time. The site owner goes on to say that their personal data has been given out and deceitful plots have been made to cut them out. Dude, fuck these guys. Effectively setting them as a target to destroy in the process. After seeing this, they decided to immediately cease all site-related operations. This means cutting ties to their Discord and Twitter/X social media, run by separate teams, both of which rejected the allegations made by the site admin. Things had been rocky between the site staff and Discord staff for a while, and while Discord staff has been exploring possible ways forward, likely including severing the relationship with the existing site and its ownership, we are deeply confused and disappointed by the accusation of doxing and the implication that we've been threatening. We categorically reject these allegations, the ROMhacking.net staff on Discord and Twitter/X said. So while the ROMhacking.net website will remain open from now, new submissions have been closed and the site will effectively be read-only. Any hosted downloads and images, though, will remain for as long as Dark Soul, FC, and Chill Coleco will allow. And a full snapshot of the site is on Internet Archive, too. Yeah, I got at least the full snapshot. The full snapshot. I combined shot and site and said shite. I mean, this whole thing is a bunch of shite. Won't lie. But yeah, dude, one thing after another, climbing down. This is why it's very important that we need to preserve and we need to rekindle this dying flame of nostalgia and things like ROMhacking.net and stuff like that. Because the hostility and toxicity from our city, but really from the woke assholes. Ever since all of these people, ever since 2016, when, Bad Orange Man became president, that's when all of these assholes bumped up the stakes and made it to this extreme point. It's disgusting, and I hate it. And just makes me disappointing. And part of why I do this show is to also fuel the flame for what I loved from video games and anime and manga back in the day from all of this. Because it's absolute garbage. That this is happening. Sorry. Okay. Hold on just a second. But that was pretty much the main one. But Streets of Rage was released today. And I believe I said it's 33rd anniversary, I guess you could say, or it was released 33 years ago. So, love the Streets of Rage series. Probably my favorite one. So, it's called Bare Knuckles. Released for the Sega Genesis. I think just for the Sega Genesis. I was going to say, I don't think it was for arcade. But yeah, I played all the more reason about romhacking.net because I uncensored everything and played, I tried to get it as in its purest form as possible to truly enjoy what the creators wanted to share. And that was thanks to romhacking.net. But a great game. It certainly got me mad, but I think it's a fantastic game. Even Streets of Rage 4. Even though a little bit of the charm was kind of not there in Streets of Rage 4, but I still really enjoyed it. I love me a good beat 'em up. And you have Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3. Oh, there was a Java version remake of the original game, exclusive in Japan, was released under the name Bare Knuckle Mobile. Brings redesigned stages from the original game. Playable Axel and Blaze, which Adam assists as a special CPU partner triggered by a pickup item. Sprites are a slightly altered version of Streets of Rage 2 graphics. Oh, there was a comic? That's cool. Look at that. Just look at it. I don't know how good the comics are, but that's pretty sweet. You got your soundtrack here. But yeah, actually, hands down the best game in the franchise for me. But yeah, very, very good, good series. I would definitely highly recommend it as well. And I wish there was like a better sign to find information about movies or site to find information about movies than Wikipedia, but also released today, Signs. I don't think I've ever seen this film. I know what it's about. I mean, it's M. Night Shyamalan. And, aliens, crop circles and whatnot. And ultimately, in the end, aliens getting hurt by water. You gotta love it. But that was also released today. You got or not today, but, well, back in the day, it was released on this day. You got Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, M. Night Shyamalan was actually the veterinarian? Huh. Guess he was actually in there. What was the reception? Good approval rating, 75%. Robert Ebert gave it 4 out of 4 stars. But yeah. Another one, too, that I saw that was pretty cool was Matilda. I have one last thing here. That's kind of all I had for today, and we are kind of around the hour mark that I usually at least try to reach. But one last thing I guess we can kind of sign off on. We've got Disney Epic Mickey. Rebrushed gets new showcase trailer. I remember when this kind of was proposed, and I thought everyone was super happy about it because it was supposed to be like really dark and stuff, and it was very interesting. I don't know if that, I thought it changed and people were disappointed. So I don't really know, but if you're into a Disney Epic Mickey, obviously Disney not doing so hot right now in a lot of things. But apparently it's their new remake of the classic platformer. So it brings the magic of Disney to life in a vibrant 3D platformer. This remake sends Mickey Mouse on an epic journey through the wasteland. I do not understand the Gnats' obsession with my microphone and just being all around this area. I hate it. It's out of all this entire space, you have to hang around me. This beautiful remake sends Mickey Mouse on an epic journey through Wasteland, a realm of forgotten Disney characters. As Mickey will dive into fantastical world and armed with paint and thinner, shape your adventure in the fate of this alternate world. So originally envisioned by Warren Spector, reimagined by Purple Lamp, Disney Epic Mickey Rebrush employs state-of-the-art visual and improved controls to bring new life into a beloved classic. Experience new movement skills for Mickey, such as dash, ground pound, and sprinting. And then it's got a compelling story. Kind of get you here. Guess we can play the trailer real quick. I think you guys should be able to hear it. I think, yeah, I got that set up. There you go. Did they make a sequel to this? I don't remember. I thought they did. Well, they certainly had the creepy element. Change the fate of the wasteland. Whoops. That looks cool. Oh, that's like the Game Boy or the Mickey Mouse one in like for Sega and Super Nintendo, I think. I mean, it looks pretty solid. Yeah, we're on Wiki. I guess we'll see here. Epic Mickey. Yeah, there was a second one, The Power of Two. Wait, and then there was a Power of Illusions? Yeah, I remember when this was like a big thing. How did this do? I mean, if they don't censor anything and bastardize it, I'd be interested. Apparently, it got mixed and average reviews, criticizing its camera control issue and lack of voice acting, but praised its charm, story, art, design, and lasting appeal. They compared the paintbrushing abilities to that of the water jet from Super Mario Sunshine. Huh. And then you got Epic Mickey Part 2. Because I know it involved Oswald. How did this one do? Once again, mix and average. Looks like it did lower than the first one. It was projected to sell over 2 million, and despite heavy marketing and being released on several platforms, it only sold 529,000 copies. Oh, ouch. That sucks. Who knows? Maybe this new one, this remake, will do something. I don't know, but that's all I had for you guys today. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Yeah, I'm trying to do more stuff in terms of, like I said, like kind of also finding some fun stuff to talk about, you know, games that were released today and movies. I'm trying to do it with anime, but that one's like really hard, especially when it's like a series as opposed to like just a movie and stuff like that. But we're working on that too, and of course working on other stuff as well, trying to post up more content. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're new and you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button, or follow me over on X. We were on YouTube, X, Kick, and Rumble. And then any other social media you can find in my description below or on my link tree over on X. And if you want to go beyond helping, just pushing the algorithm to help the channel grow, if you want to check out my locals or membership subscription tiers, feel free to. Humbled and blessed anyway. But yeah, maybe we'll hop on tonight and do some gaming. I'll think about it. If I do, all the more reason to turn on notifications and to subscribe. But anyway, really, my biggest thing, really disappointed ROMHacking.net is having trouble, and they ultimately have to shut it down. Really upset about that. The preservation of video games is very important. All the more reason why you need to go physical media or emulate and modding stuff to get what the creators originally wanted, you know, without having to worry about garbage, Western localization, and censorship and all that crap. But yes, thanks again, you guys, for all your support. Love you guys. Take care. God bless. But not this gnat, because gnats are annoying. And, uh-oh, that probably didn't look good doing that. Nah. I'm just going like this. Now, if the hand was kind of somewhat tilted more, that would have been bad. But, uh-oh. Something about his eyes. They're almost black. But, I miss Norm, too. And I'm not even a big Norm Macdonald fan, but yeah, all these guys ruining the video game industries and everything.
This guy must be a fag.
That's what they are. Take care, you guys. You have a good rest of your night, and if I hop online, hope to see you then to play some games. But take care. God bless. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.